fortunately stayed upright.
Well, there's a team that have plenty of interest, I think, in closing this breakdown. That's Sigma Sports Specialized. They've 3 riders to the 4, and really they need to think about closing this one down. They haven't got anyone up there, so it's up to Sigma and perhaps one or two of the other teams.
Yeah, maybe too late, but it's the decision that sometimes the teams have to make. Do they sacrifice riders to try and close that gap, or do they just try and concentrate on trying to win the bunch sprint or getting riders up there prominent in the finish?
Ed Clancy on the front, powering a big gear, driving and doing the slightly longer turns than one or two of the other riders. Certainly that was the case when there were just 3 of them up front. Perhaps he'll be less enthusiastic about putting the big power down in these closing couple of laps. Might try and save a little bit for the sprint. It's all about managing your energy resources throughout the race, and particularly so coming towards the conclusion.
It's also about listening to your team manager. Of seeing the pits there, that team managers are always trying to pass out information to their riders about whether this group's right, what the time gaps are. So
no race radios, of course, in Halfords Tour Series racing, so the riders have to think on their wheels.
They do. They do have to think of that, but then again, they are seeing their team manager every minute and a half, 2 minutes. So there's no need at all for race radios in this.
So they're processing lots of information, and the information is that there's a group of 6 have moved clear. 6 different teams are represented. Johnny McAvoy moves over, having done his turn, and allows Marcel Cease back on the front, and he's being followed in turn by Ed Clancy, who hasn't shirked throughout the night. The Endura team also eager to get 2 riders to the 4 towards the conclusion in the bunch, but they have Evan Oliphant on the front, who goes for a long one as the riders take the bell. Evan Oliphant of Scotland has gone for a big one, and will the riders behind respond? It looks as if Ed Clancy drives on the front, powers down, and does not want to see, of all teams, an Endura rider, because they're battling for the lead of the series. Ed Clancy is the one that's going to try and close this down and puts the pain on the other riders.
You can see the pressure on the other riders there from Ed Clancy's acceleration in trying to close down Oliphant.
Well, it looks as if it hasn't quite worked out for Evan Oliphant on this occasion. Ed Clancy alive to the danger and closes up behind as Graham Briggs gets a bike, but of course no question of getting a lap out this late in, so I don't think he's going to be able to get back into contention, but still plenty of other Rafa Condor Sharp riders to the 4 in the conclusion, none less of course than Ed Clancy coming towards the last few corners. What can he do? He looks behind, must be getting a little bit concerned about the riders sitting on him, heading towards the sprint.
You can see him just looking under his shoulder there, just trying to make sure he knows where everybody is, and you can see again another quick glance there, and he will be ready for any surprise attacks. Yeah,
he looks as if he's happy enough to stay on the front and try and control it from there. He's moving around a little bit, taking all the air that he possibly can. A little bit of a shoulder going on there with Dale Appleby. And that's a lapped rider behind, as we see jockeying in the bunch between the Enduras and the Rafa Condor Sharp, but going for the line, going wide. Chris Opie with a big one, but Ed Clancy, can he hang on? Certainly can. Ed Clancy gets the victory in round 2, takes maximum points for Rafa Condor Sharp, but still we're watching behind to see who's going to get points in the bunch, and Endura take the bunch sprint, but at least 2 Rafa Condor Sharp riders to the 4 there, so it looks as if it's been a very good evening's work for the Rafa Condor Sharp team.
Well, we'll have to wait and see for the results. I think the other night I was pretty convinced that Endura Racing had won on the night, but when you saw the results it was clearly Rafa, so we'll just wait for the judges to do their work.
Well, celebrations from Christian House, he seems very confident about it, and clap on the back for Ed Clancy and for all the Rafa Condor Sharp riders. Excellent work. The judges will decide, but it's been a good evening for Rafa Condor.
So Ed Clancy, the man in white, leading home the team in black.